The central government of India has rushed 20 additional CAPF companies comprising about 2,000 personnel to Manipur in the wake fresh attacks and law and order issues have erupted in the state of Manipur again. Sources have said that the Ministry of Home Affairs issued orders on Tuesday night for airlifting and immediate deployment of additional units of the Central Armed Police Forces. At least 11 suspected militants were killed in a fierce gunfight with the Central Reserve Police Force after insurgents in camouflage uniforms armed with sophisticated weapons fired indiscriminately at the Borobekra police station and the adjacent CRPF camp at Jakrador in Jiribam district. A huge cache of sophisticated weapons were also seized by the forces following the fierce gun battle. Sources said that out of the 20 fresh Central Armed Police Forces or CAPF companies ordered to be rushed to Manipur include 15 from the CRPF and 5 from the Border Security Force. These units will add to the 198 companies of the CAPFs that are already stationed in the state following the ethnic violence that began in the state in the month of May last year, leading to the killing of over 200 people. All these CAPF units will be at the disposal of the Manipur government until November 30th as ordered by the Ministry of Home Affairs, but the deployment is expected to be extended. Tension has been high in Manipur since last week due to a fresh round of violence. So we have my colleague Brajesh Pandey joining us live from the newsroom. Brajesh, more security forces deployed in Manipur, but unrest continues.
Well, absolutely. And I think, what has been happening since last week, there has been a spurt in violence where 3 Meitei people were targeted. And then we saw this, clash between CRPF and suspected militants, which resulted in 11 suspected militants being killed. And after that, we saw 2 more bodies being found and 6, 3 women, 3 children being abducted by militants. The tension is, the Manipur is ablaze with a fresh round of tension. And that is the reason why the center, instead of taking any chance or asking the current forces, 198 battalions, 198 CAPFs unit which are already there, they have rushed additional 20 more CAPFs to the ground, though the time frame which we have been given to understand is still November 30th. But going by what is happening on the ground, what we have been given to understand is that there is going to be an extension of the stay as far as these CAPFs are concerned. Additional forces is required because, with the abduction of 6 Meitei people, 3 women and 3 children have led to, further inflaming of sentiment on the ground, and the government this time doesn't want to take any chance whatsoever. The purpose, the sources in the government are saying that they would want normalcy to return. But the fact is, Krishna, that, in the last 6 months we have seen that there is a lull for, 10-15 days before the smokescreen of peace is shattered very brutally by series of violent incidents. The similar has been happening in the last 1 week, which has been, I would say, the bloodiest in the last 6 months.
The last 6 months have been the bloodiest, but the most latest one of them all, you had these insurgents in camouflage uniforms and they carried, sophisticated weaponry as well. The arms that have been seized so far suggest that, these are well provided for insurgents. So the situation is getting from bad to worse in terms of how strong the insurgents are getting.
Well, absolutely. And I think, the way the reason why they don themselves in camouflage and, carry sophisticated weapon is that to escape attention or to present themselves as an extension of the CAPFs which are already being deployed there. And going by, the number of Kalashnikovs, the number of SLRs and other sophisticated weapons which were recovered, the fact that only 2 CRPF Jawans were injured came as a huge sigh of relief for the Central Armed Police Forces. Because going by the kind of weaponry and the firepower these suspected militants had, it could have led to a larger bloodbath. And the fact that the CRPF has been able to kill 11 suspected militants is something, which the authorities believe will lead to escalation of tension. And we immediately, 6 hours, 8 hours after that encounter, we saw a massive exchange of fire in Imphal West from both sides. And The government wants to control this sudden spurt and sudden escalation of violence in the state, and it is in lieu of that they have it's rushed an additional 20 CAPF units to the state of Manipur. Krishna?
And with that, the number of the companies of CAPFs in Manipur is nearly 200. Stationed.
Well, I think
Right.
It's 218, Krishna, now, because 198 units were already there, CAPF units were already there in the state of Manipur, and with this 20, the number have increased to 218. Now, that is a huge presence of Central Armed Police Forces, comprising of BSF, comprising of CRPF, comprising of Assam Rifles, and not to mention Indian Army per se. So, I mean, one of the key questions which is also being asked in certain quarters is, how is it that, with presence of so many boots on the ground, the government or the forces have not been able to control, control the kind of violence which is there on the ground, not been able to recover the kind of weapon which is still, more than 4,000, 5,000 weapons are still being illegally kept by people, and which is one of the key source of, this sporadic escalation of violent activities in the state of Manipur. So it seems that the government is this time, is trying to put more boots on the ground to make sure that they are able to very effectively carry out the cordon and search operations in pockets to make sure that they are able to recover as many weapons as possible, which many believe is one of the key reasons why there is no end to violence as far as the state of Manipur is concerned. Krishna?